my girl. She called the feds. I did that time and spent that bread. I'm headed home. I'm almost there. I'm on my way, headed up the stairs. To my surprise, replacing me. I had to take him to that ghetto university. The lights, top lights, flashlights, spotlights, strobe lights, street lights. All of the lights, all of the lights. Fast life, drug life, thug life, rock life, every night. All of the lights. Turn up the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn up the lights in here, baby. You know what I need. Want you to see everything. Want you to see all of the lights. Restraining order. Can't see my daughter. Her mother, brother, grandmother hate me in that order. Public visitation. We met at borders. Told her she'd take me back. I'll be more supportive. I made mistakes. I bumped my head. You court sucked me dry. I spent that bread. She need a daddy. Baby, please. Can't let her grow up in that ghetto university. The lights. Top lights, flashlights, spotlights, strobe lights, street lights. All of the lights, all of the lights. Fast life, drug life, thug life, rock life, every night. Turn up the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn up the lights in here, baby. You know what I need. Want you to see everything. Want you to see all of the lights.
Get mine, baby.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Get it right, baby. She go and get your own. Get mine, baby. Gotta let
How long you ball all day, all day? How much time you spent at the mall? All day, all day. How many runners do you got on call? All day, all day. Swish, swish. How long they keep you in call? All day, all day. Take you to get this fly. All day, all day. Till you be your how long you been high? All day, all day. And already know, straight from the shop. All day, all day. Top, side. All day, all day. This shit, nigga. Shopping for the winner and it's just made. Ball so hard, man, it's just crazy. Nigga. He ain't getting money, like he got 8 figures. But it's just a piece, man, I'm been say, nigga. Just talked to Faircon, that's sensei, nigga. Told him I've been on 10 since the 10th grade, nigga. Got a middle finger longer than the Kim, baby, my nigga.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
The time is 8 p.m. My name is Kobe Spikey Nkrumah. You're tuned in to Joy 99.7 FM. The show is Geek Squad. And today, we're talking about the Internet of Things. I know that sounds weird to people who don't know what it is. It doesn't mean that something on the internet or the internet on something. It is the connectivity of things around us, that things that can basically access the internet, that we connect together with the internet. People are going to break this down better than I will. And we have Sicho from Process and Plant Automation Systems. Sicho, you will tell us about PPA because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what Process and Plant Automation is.
Okay.
So you'll have an opportunity to tell us what
Sure,
you guys
sure.
do. And then we have the CEO of Personet Systems, Joshua Otu. And he's a serial entrepreneur. And this guy's a genius. Like, he's a genius. On the stream, those who are watching us on Facebook live and on YouTube, online, everywhere. You'll see all the people in the studio. I mean, geniuses. Winston, I know you don't want to accept that you're a genius.
I'm a photographer, thanks. Photo.
So,
For short.
yes, photo genius. And then, yeah, a regular bad guy, Kwekwa Nancy. Thank you guys for joining us.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
yes.
you.
What is the Internet of Things? I'm going to start with you, Sicho.
Okay. Very good evening to you, Spiky, and
Yeah.
your listeners also. Okay. So the Internet of Things. Okay. So Internet of Things is basically a network of interconnected devices that interact and share data. So simply put,
Simply put.
yeah.
Josh, your Internet of Things.
All right. Good evening, everyone listening. And it's a pleasure to be here to talk about the future of technology. Internet of Things, as I put it, IoT. My understanding is a collection of ideas, process, and devices. So it's basically connecting sensors, actuators to the internet.
You see,
And
you
this
you're
sensors-
just doing everybody sensors and actuators. First off, what kind of sensor? Like,
Okay. So we could have a temperature sensor,
okay,
we can
and
have
what
a
does that
humid
do?
collecting temperature in the environment,
So, like my thermometer
for instance.
that I
Yeah.
put in my armpit,
Yeah.
you
So-
can connect it to the internet.
Instead of just putting it there and then taking it back, maybe you can put it there and be watching your phone for the results of it.
Ah,
Or you can be putting it there whilst your doctor also monitor it on the screen.
okay.
So that thermometer will be connected to the internet, pushing the data that collects from your armpit
Straight
to the
my doctor.
to the doctor.
Then the actuator. What is that actually?
Process engineer will be able to help.
Okay, when we get to that, then you you break it down now.
I think he said it so. He's the
Okay.
best person.
So basically, when it comes to machines, automations,
Okay.
sensors collect the data, but actuators control the movements of parts of the device.
So like a robot arm.
Yeah, for example, like a robot.
Like a
arm.
robot arm.
Yeah.
So we can have like a robot arm that moves around picking something.
Yeah.
So the temperature sensor, the thermometer in my armpit, sends the signal or the information to the robot arm telling it that my body temperature is cold, meaning I'm dying. So it should pick me up.
For instance.
Something like that.
Yeah,
That's
something like
futuristic. We'll get to that very soon. Winston,
Yeah.
these guys just took us like 100 leaps forward.
Yeah. Well, Internet of Things. I think the name was actually supposed to be Internet for Things,
Mm.
but yeah, and the Internet of Things
Why
actually ended up
Internet for Things and Internet of Things?
because pretty much you're using the internet for
things.
these things to
Yeah.
connect these things. So basically, it's as Citro said, and I mean they've pretty much said everything. The only thing I would like to add is the fact that it has devices that are considered traditionally internet-based devices and non-internet-based devices sharing information among each other. So
Give me
that's
an example of a non-internet-based device.
so light
Like my
bulbs,
chair.
like your light bulbs back in the day until recently.
Now
I
your
think,
light bulb connects to the internet.
yeah, interesting enough.
We'll get to that.
That's
I'm not going to ask you because when we get to you, you're just going to tell us what is bad about everything.
Oh no! Well, there are IoT in security also.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's this little box that is built. It's in a Wi-Fi form. Standing on its own, it's able to automatically connect to people's Wi-Fi, extract data, and then save it. Yeah, they are all IoT,
I
right?
told you. You give Coco and Answer the opportunity, he's going to tell you what something can be used, what evil can be done with that
Yeah,
thing.
everything that can be used for good can be used for bad.
Well, true.
Yes.
True. Everything, though.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Okay, so now that we've gotten the whole explanation of what the Internet of Things are out of the way, people want to know, how does this even affect their lives? Like, why do I want my bulb to be able to connect to the internet? For example, how is that going to make my life any better? Or do I really need it? Sijo.
Okay, so I'll take a typical use case for a farmer. Okay, so you have a farm, okay, and then you constantly irrigate the farm. You have plants on the farm. Doing that, almost maybe you have you do it periodically. Becomes tedious, Every time, may say every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you are irrigating your farm.
Yeah.
How about you like to know which portions of your farm that needs attention to? Okay, so not just the entire farm or your entire periodic irrigation, but just some portions. So we have sensors that are in the soil connected to your mobile phone that can inform you if actually giving you data on
Right.
specific locations of your farm where
Okay.
you could actually do irrigation.
That sort of ties in with a bit of artificial intelligence right there.
And not necessarily. Okay, so they are just devices connected to maybe you have an inbuilt or remote station where the devices are interpreted. You know, because if I get the moisture content reading of my farm or a place in my farm, it might not, to a typical farmer, he might not know what to do with that information. So there are other agents in the line of this infrastructure that will convert that data into meaningful actually responses to the farmer. So when the farmer gets it on the phone, farmer actually knows what to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then the farmer knows that my cocoa
Yes.
needs watering.
Yes, it needs
My
work.
corn does not need watering,
Yes.
so I need to just go water.
Yes.
So then it makes you more efficient.
More efficient.
And you're not wasteful.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Josh, you're smiling.
Yeah.
Why? We've got an idea.
He used a use case of agriculture. I
Mhm.
want to go to the home.
Okay.
Okay.
For instance, you could have a smart home where you could really control your devices in the home with your phone, like a project we're working on it. So, for instance, if you forget to leave your appliances because you're in a hurry to work, instead of driving back to just turn off your light or iron or something you forgot to turn on, you could
You
just
can
take
do
your
it from
phone
your
and then
phone.
do that.
Oh.
That could save the whole energy that's going to go wasted.
So if I'm a very forgetful human being. So if I get to like halfway to work and I realize that I forgot to turn off my iron,
Iron,
I
sure.
can actually do it from
Yeah,
my
just
phone.
take your phone, just turn it off.
What do I need to be able to make this happen?
All right. So first of all, you have to have a device, a switch device, in your house that's connected to the internet.
So the socket in which I plug my iron needs to be connected to the internet.
Yeah. So you either go for a smart socket, or we have built a device that you can attach to existing.
When you say we, as in
My
you,
team.
you and your team
Yeah.
in Ghana,
Yeah, in Ghana here.
like Mercury will say, in Ghana,
Yeah, in Ghana,
You
right here in
built
Ghana.
a machine, a device,
A device,
that can
IoT
do this.
device that you can just attach to the existing plug you already have.
Mhm.
You don't have to buy a new smart plug. Like attach it to the switch you have already.
Mhm.
Then be able to control your appliance. Whichever appliance you plug to it, you'll be able to control it with your phone, whoever you are.
Okay, so let me break this down. I buy this device from you. I plug it into my socket. I plug my iron in it. I don't even have to unplug the iron again.
No, you don't have
So
to.
anywhere I am, I can turn it on or turn it
Sure.
off.
So imagine you're starving and you want to set up food on fire. By the time you get home, 30 minutes time, the food will be ready. So you can
Mm.
set up everything before you leave the house.
So my microwave,
Yeah, everything.
I just turn it.
You
and
just
then
use
leave
your
it
phone
off.
to turn it on. By the time you get home, everything will be set. Then just eat it.
Do you know? I just got an idea. I just remembered back when we were watching. You know, Christmas time they show Home Alone.
Yeah,
how
Home
he
Alone
had all
4.
those gadgets and he could do stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine the kids of today having the Internet of Things, the things they could do.
Well, there'll be restrictions.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking for myself.
Okay.
So, Josh, this can be used with any other device
Yeah.
because it goes into the socket. So, how about my fan that does not plug into a socket?
Okay, so you're fine to have a regulator.
Yeah.
So you can the same install a device close to your regulator or attach to your regulator to be able to achieve same purposes. So everywhere there's a manual switch that somebody have to turn something to turn a device on, you
Mhm.
can actually automate it with
Wow.
the device.
Great. Okay, so Winston,
Yeah.
you heard what Sicho and Josh have said. I mean, my mind is blown. I'm thinking about automating my house already.
Mhm.
So, like, now I'll be preparing my room, be cool, the AC will be
You
on.
know, right?
Yeah.
Movies being prepared to watch, food is almost ready, and I
Mhm.
walk in and I'm cool.
You just walk in.
You think we're ready for this?
What do you mean by do I think we are ready for
You know
this?
where our internet is.
Oh, okay. Are we ready for it? Yeah, we are. We are because I use some of these things in my office. Yeah, and
Some of
it's
these things, like,
the smart bulbs, smart speaker, stuff like that, and it works very efficiently. There's no lag. It's not
turn
really.
on the lights from here. I'm kidding. So you can actually do that. You can turn off your lights or turn them on from here.
Yeah, but I normally prefer to just use Alexa. I mean, the voice activation is cooler,
So when
and
you
it's
walk-
really impressive if someone walks in and go like, Alexa, set hue to, and then the lights just change, and everybody's like, wow.
Alexa is your maid.
No, it's the smart speaker, Amazon smart speaker.
that's another Internet of Things.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
guess
make it
we'll
a
get
great story.
we'll get to that.
Wow. So yeah, we are going to get to that. You have gone like you're
Too far.
like Jetsons era right now.
Yeah.
You know, you are controlling things with your voice. Kwanansi, why you have a mischievous look on your face?
Well, the more IoT devices and this kind of stuff, the more our job gets interesting.
Very true.
We like it.
So basically, from what they've said, what are the risks involved? I've left my iron at home. I plugged it in.
Well, this is something new, so I'm guessing the hackers will be ahead. Yes, when it's something new. So gradually they would be able to patch up the security details and little bugs that they find.
Right.
I'm sure, with the hackers, trying to attack it and so on, they will find all the things they've missed on their way in development.
And then Sicho and Josh will be able to patch it.
Up.
So then you have a job to find these exploits and report to them, and then they patch it before they bring it to the public.
Well, that's it.
Good.
Yeah, they should.
Yes.
They should. But most
No,
of them
you
don't.
should first, and then they will.
Well, they have
said you are one
to
step.
Approach you. I
they
guess.
have to come in.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Then I'll just do it for them.
So, I mean, everything you guys have said means that all these devices need to be connected to the internet or have some network access.
Yes.
So, with a farm, for instance, sending that data to whoever is going to make actionable, information out of it needs internet.
Nope, not
Doesn't?
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Okay.
So in that use case I gave, the farmer actually, most farmers don't have smartphones. Okay. So we have sensors that
Okay.
work with development boards that are GSM powered. Okay. So you could actually get a text message, string text message that says you need to irrigate this portion of your farm. So even without your normal iPhones or your normal Androids, with just a normal
Normal
YAM,
YAM.
yeah, you can. Yeah, you're good to go.
Great. That's
It's
reassuring.
relieving.
It's
Yeah.
relieving.
Yeah.
It makes me not worry about. But in Josh's case, is it the same thing?
No, it's
I can't
not,
send a
it's
text
not basically
to my
the
house.
same. The whole idea of IoT is data,
Right.
and we are looking at big data, and big data requires AI algorithm to be able to read the data, interpret it, and make meaningful decisions of it. We need the internet to do that. What he must be looking at is maybe a small scale IoT. But if you're looking at scaling up a smart home to the whole of Ghana, then we're looking at having a big internet infrastructure being put in place.
But here's the case that we're in Ghana.
And that's
Where everything
that's
starts
why
from
there's
step
even
one to step
5G.
Mm-hmm.
There's you see,
Yeah.
it's
It's because of
Hold
IoT.
up.
That's why
Hold up,
5G is
Winston.
real
Hold
progressive.
on, Winston. And I mean that's it's brilliant and all that, but in a country where we haven't even gone full scale 4G.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't even gone
Or
full
maybe
scale 3G.
full scale digitization.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even get 3G in certain places in Accra. So imagine that I did remember that I forgot to turn off my iron and I'm in a black spot. There's a place around on the Spintex Road. There's a black spot there. Anytime I get there, my network is off. Let's say I get there and I remember no internet. I'm unable to do this. I'm looking at it from the Ghanaian perspective where systems are not 100%. How do you push an agenda like this where people require that the systems to be 100% before they can use it? Or you're saying that it is not necessary for them to be on?
It's very important. So basically, if you're a startup or entrepreneur who wants to dive into IoT application, so whatever solution you come up with, you can work with the telecos and get a dedicated line, which is very reliable. So they offer such services
That's
too.
for you, the developer.
For you, the startup company with IoT product. So you can partner with it. Another thing about IoT is it's all about partnership. It's an ecosystem. You can't do it alone. You need a telecos, you need government, because they have to be regulation and policies. So it's not like you sit in your bedroom and you build something, you start selling. It has to be regulated. You have to get your partners in place before you can enroll a full-scale IoT product.
So in your case, you have partnerships.
We're still working on it. First of all, we have to be able to build something that really works, be able to convince our partners that this is what we build and this is the potential before we can look at the next stage of commercializing them.
Okay. Wisdom.
Yeah.
You think that we are ready for IoT full scale?
some areas of Accra. But I always say this, that Accra is not representative of Ghana, so it's not really a good. So if you are taking it on the scale of Ghana in totality, we probably aren't ready, because there are times where you are there and there's no internet access for hours. That means you've lost your house if your iron is on.
If you're thinking about just internet, think about just even power.
Yes. Okay, well, if the electricity goes out, then your iron is not going to do anything.
And then
I mean,
the
it's
iron
pretty
comes
fine.
on when the electricity comes on.
Yeah, then that's when
And
you
then
start.
your internet is off.
Then that's when you start considering what you've done. So, but I think we are ready. I mean, we need to start somewhere. So, like you said, if everybody sees the potential and then everybody starts improving themselves, and we'll get there sooner than we expected. But so far with IoTs, the only problems I've noticed is, especially with home automation, is that the proprietary API. Sorry, I used. Okay, so basically, if you want to get your house, turn it smart, you need a couple of devices. Now, the thing is that all these devices, some of them do not interact with each other very well. So you need another third-party thing.
Right.
So that's racking up the cost of getting this home automated. So in Ghana, I feel like that's going to be... The internet is not even the problem. It's the cost of setting up.
So that's why you have a localized company like
Yes.
PPA and Personet,
Yes.
who would be doing this locally to make it affordable. Are you affordable, PPA and Personet?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes. Oh,
Very affordable.
Mm.
Very affordable.
Don't worry, I'm not going to give you a chance. So, listen. Now, I'm thinking, I was just about to talk about standardization, but what you
Okay.
said basically touches on it. Now, I'm thinking, if you decided to go automation in your home, what do you need to start with? Say, I want to get home and my door opens. Does that is that also considered as the Internet of Things?
You see, more often it's more like art. Okay,
Okay.
you've been to our showroom
Yes,
before, so
and
you've
it
seen
was
how
brilliant.
brilliant. Yeah,
They had this
So-
crib.
yeah.
I need to go there then.
It's
You have to.
automated, like lights,
You have to.
I need to show off.
everything.
Yeah.
Yo.
So it's not just limited to that. Anything you can think of. So anything you feel will bring comfort to you, we can actually make it happen. That is the beautiful thing about Internet of Things. Endless possibilities.
I'm smiling.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I know what you're
Iron
thinking.
Man. And I'm thinking my house is going to be like Iron Man. You know, I walk in, my door opens, my couch just
Slides to you.
Mhm.
Wow.
I sit in
Tony
and-
Stark things.
This Internet of Things is interesting, except I'm just
Iron
seriously
Man.
worried
Worried.
with the way
He's so quiet.
He's so quiet and
Yes.
he keeps smiling. It's worrying. I'm not giving you the chance yet. Now, okay, so Josh, he's given me basically what can make, like, it's an art.
Yeah.
You make these devices. So if I wanted something to happen in my home too, I tell you, you can build it for me.
Yeah,
What does
sure.
it take to build an IoT device?
Well, basically, what I think is we have to look at our priorities. First of all, we started with light, being able to control light, because we realized that's the basic necessity that we should be able to do. At least if you are late home and your room or your outside is dark, you should be able to turn it on. So after, and it's a process. You can start with your light, then appliances, your door, your curtains. It's unlimited.
Yeah.
So based on what or how far you want to go, determine the stuff we have to put in place. But I think the basic should be able to control light. Because people hire security men just to turn on light every evening whenever they travel.
Really?
And these
Yeah,
things can
true.
be done. Even
Yeah.
if you travel
Yeah.
outside, you can still turn on your light outside while you're away. So I think the basic problem that we should tackle
It's light.
is the light before we move to the appliances. Light is very safe. And even if somebody should break into your light, he can cause any damage. You can only just turn on and off your light. It wouldn't cause much
You
damage.
can make it into a disco.
What about you short circuit it? It's possible. The whole house will go on fire.
No, there's a limit to what you can do.
Unless you add that IoT thing, that smoke detector thing in addition to
Which he
it.
has.
To pour rain on the fire. I guess so.
Nonsense.
Well, yeah, there's security threat. You see, if you realize recently there's been high demand for cyber security expertise, it's because of IoT.
Why,
Was
why
it-
is that? Why has there been that high demand? Is it that really dangerous?
It can be dangerous,
Very.
and they are also putting measures to minimize the damages. So they've introduced blockchain with IoT, so that most of this data that the device collects could be secured, so you
Right.
can't even get access to this data and be able to manipulate them.
Because it is very important, that data.
Yeah.
With all that data, I mean, all that data goes back into the system, getting artificial intelligence and machine learning to then predict. So that you don't
Yes.
have to actually turn off your
Yeah.
lights remotely. Your system now can detect that, oh, every 6 o'clock,
You turn it off.
Yeah,
so,
so-
let me
Yeah.
turn it on myself.
Sure.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Now we're coming to you, Kokwana, it's security.
Alright.
So, what is the current state of security in IoT?
Well, currently it's not that good. Like I said earlier on, they are now developing it, and it will take a little bit time to fill up all the loopholes in their software, the security and so on. But we will just maybe try to say that they shouldn't jump into certain critical products, like something like maybe heart monitoring and
Yeah.
other things that
That's
may
right. Yeah.
cause very disastrous things
Exactly.
when being hacked.
Okay. Well, that makes a whole lot of
Yep.
sense.
Yeah.
So, Winston,
Yeah.
you have been using your IoT devices in your house. Has it made
Obviously.
your life any better, any easier?
Well,
Besides it being nice and show offy.
yeah, it's I mean, better. Okay, I'm the type of person who, when I'm leaving the house, I always feel like I haven't locked my door. So yeah, definitely turning off the lights is one of the very first things I do. So I feel like personally, it's been a good run where I could just be out and just turn off the lights,
Yeah.
or I could just change the color of the lights to suit something. And when I'm doing shoots and I want to create a particular mood from the shoots, I can just change the color of the lights, and I don't have to switch out bulbs and stuff like that. And so yes, if I think about it, it has helped. It has made, and most of these are very power efficient. That's the very interesting thing about them. The fact that they can become very bright, they can change colors and everything, they are still very power efficient.
Versus the traditional
Versus
ones that
the
people are using.
traditional ones, the
Okay.
halogen.
Sicho.
Okay, so you notice I've always stuck with the use
Yes.
case of the farm.
Mhm.
You see, there's one problem with Ghanaians, okay? Before you can actually appreciate something, if it benefits you in a small way, when we give you the bigger picture, you understand it more. So we actually like to stick to the
The
very
basics.
yes, and also GSM is very very cheap to implement. That is one thing. We are sometimes, I think what most of these guys are not taking into consideration is the fact that we are leaving certain key people out.
Mm.
The farmer is a very very important
part.
yes of our economy. So if we start by addressing the needs of these very fundamental people, I think we as a people will come together to even appreciate it.
Yeah.
So as you just said, it's one step at a time. So we still maintain the position of always keeping the farmer happy.
So PPA is just for
No. You've been to our place before, so yeah, we are not only about as the use case I'm giving. We are not only about that. We have the smart home, which you've been. We have even IoT solutions for the industry side too.
Yeah.
We have both wide range of things. So it's not only the farm, as I yeah.
So, Josh, you also say you're starting off with the lights only. Now, someone just texted me that they want to be an IoT developer. They don't know where to start. Initially, they thought they needed to learn programming, but then now you're talking about building the devices themselves. What does the person need to know? Do they need engineering background?
First of all, anybody interested to dive into IoT space, which I think everybody should be interested. If you're a tech enthusiast and you're not into IoT, you're missing the future. So because of that, I started a community 2 years ago to bring all these people together, because IoT is not a new thing. It's an ecosystem bringing developers, engineers, cyber security, all expertise together to build solutions for all the industries.
Yeah.
So first of all, the person should be able to join our community, because we have meetup every Saturday, last Saturday of the month,
Okay.
where we get to train ourselves or share what we're doing. So yeah, the
So
person has to
should
join the community
so
first,
they
then
can learn
discover
from
the
it.
role he or she can play in the community.
Because you can't do everything.
That's the point. You can
Right.
do everything, but you have to play a niche in the ecosystem.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
That makes a whole lot of sense. So if you're listening to us and you want to join in the conversation, you can send a message to WhatsApp number 0244 340437. The number is 0244 340437. We have a message from Na. It's FinTech. It's my responsibility to read the messages.
Go on, man.
Na says, I've had this idea for a while now, and if I had the expertise, I'd have invented it myself. But I know others too could have a similar idea, so I'm asking, do they have or can they create a kind of doom sort detector? Basically a device that can notify you by SMS or something when there's doom, and then when there's SOP at your home or office, so that you always know what to expect when coming home or going to the office. Why are you guys all
Let
struggling
me
to
take
answer this
this.
question?
No.
That's the whole inspiration behind the project
Yeah.
we built.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you remember when it came, you have to move from office to cafe, looking for light to work. So the whole idea was to build a device that can help us detect whenever there's electricity, so we can move to that place and then work. And that's how we started with the smart home.
So,
So we
Na's
actually
device
have the
has been built.
solution. Yeah,
Nah,
solution for
Personal
that.
has your device. Citro, you also have a device that can tell doom and SOP.
we can build one for
We
you.
can build one.
Yeah. It hasn't really been in demand. I think now it's giving us ideas now.
I think if I try to connect to my
Yes.
lights in the house and it doesn't connect, I know I have doom.
Yeah. If you don't get any feedback, yes, you know
I
we
don't
have
get any
doom.
feedback, I know I have
Exactly.
doom. So, my producer Dela is opening up. Good evening, Kobe. Talking about the internet availability here in Ghana, there comes in mind that Ghana government is about to purchase drones, which cost $100,000 each to distribute blood, drugs, and other health items to the remote areas across the country. One, do we have effective internet access in our remote areas which can enhance smooth operations for this long distance? The price is not normal for the kind of drones on the other side of the coin. That's Pekutin Kran from Audemay Estate. I'm yet to find out
Yeah.
how much the drones really cost. 'cause
Cost, but yeah, I mean,
that's a large figure.
that's a very, very for one drone. That's a very huge figure.
We will confirm the figure.
We have
before.
a lot of engineers in our schools and a lot of bright people. Why they just can't set up a team to build these things themselves? You know, it's possible to do it right here, which will cost just about 10,000
We're not
each.
sure.
We are not sure the
100%.
I am very sure.
Oh, Anna.
Oh yeah, it's true.
On- on-
How can they build
On the other side of things, the buying the drones and everything, I've had my second thoughts about it because I was at the civil aviation when they announced the RPA rules, and the rules were very stringent. Like you can't fly in a place like
Yeah.
East Legon and stuff like that. So I don't know how they are going to circumvent. If it's anywhere outside of Accra, yeah, it would probably work. And most of these drones that they would be using would not be based on internet. So it would probably be using
So it's
yeah.
totally irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah,
now.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on very swiftly. So I'm thinking right now,
Okay.
a lot of questions I'm getting right now is my smartwatch an Internet of Things device?
it is.
Yes.
Is my
it is.
smart TV an Internet of Things
It
device?
It is.
So is it possible then for someone to actually control the fridge with their watch? Is that the whole idea behind this Internet of Things where, okay, fridge off and it goes off?
Okay. So I think you actually have your watch on your hands
Mhm.
typically the whole of the day, but do you actually look at your watch every time for the time?
I do.
Okay.
Almost every
So
single
then
time.
you are an exception. So we have people who have watches, but then they are always looking at their phones. So the mobile phone is actually the target for the end user. So we are looking at people who are actually on their phones, and then yes, those are the people we are targeting, because you can actually, I for one, I always have a watch on my hand, but I don't
You
actually
don't?
yes, I don't remember the last time. Yeah. So that's why it's like the phone is actually a preferred device. So we are trying to have all these things connected to our phone so we can control.
Okay.
Because I know most of us are always on social media, if not anything. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, so I also like to chip in. We have the IoT life cycle.
Mhm.
So the cycle, we have the collection part, the data collection. We have the communication part.
Mhm.
We have the analyze and then the act. The act could be where notification has to come on your phone. Then you either take an action.
So break
Oh.
down that whole cycle
Okay.
from the beginning.
So the collection part is where we have sensors installed, either in the room, in the vehicles. For instance, if you sit in your car without putting on a seat belt, the sensor is able to detect that you did not connect your seatbelt.
Is that also an Internet of Things device?
Well, it could be if only we connect the car to the internet.
And
Then
now
we could have the data
cars
being
that are
pushed.
connected.
Yeah, we could have the data pushed to the internet. So in that case, if a company has a fleet of vehicles and the drivers have not been putting seatbelt, the boss can be in the office monitoring
can
all
tell.
these things because the cars are connected, which is one of the projects I'm working on.
Okay.
So the collection part collects the data, then they communicate to a server. So the communication could be through a Wi-Fi, through a GSM modem, through a Bluetooth, or through a local network. And after the device data has been collected and communicated to the server, then we have the analyze part, where we have the machine learning algorithm, the analytics, the reporting, the filtering. Then after you've analyzed the data you've collected, that's what we act on.
That's when you have the
you
action
you
part.
made a smart decision on what to do next.
Okay.
So it could either be machine to machine. As you said in irrigation, we say that every 6 p.m., after the collection has been done, communication has been done, analysis has been done, maybe automatically irrigates. So the
Right.
machine itself will irrigate. And there could be an action where human being have to come in to take that action.
Okay.
So
So then,
these are the life cycle of IoT.
now I think I get where the actuator comes in.
Yeah.
Where the action
Machine to machine,
machine to
communication.
machine. So when you don't want to put a person
yeah,
in
in
there,
there,
then you
yeah.
can have the actuator.
do its work.
Brilliant. I
Yeah.
think I'm beginning to love this. And I understand why you say it's the future.
Yeah, this is
it
the future.
is certainly.
So, hi, are drones part of IoT? That's Kojo from Ashongman.
Security drones, I would say, yeah, probably.
But
Recreational drones. You know, the scope of IoT is continually
Growing.
expanding. When it started in 1982, it wasn't that big.
It started in 1982.
Yeah, like the concept started
Why
out
did
in.
y'all say that? A lot of people thought it started like yesterday.
Oh, at all. No,
It's
no.
been there.
But it's it keeps expanding, and so you could classify a drone as under because like so I do drone mapping as well, where you can map
Where drone mapping is.
you can map an entire expanse of land. Now, if you're using it for agriculture, you can have different forms of lenses that would be able to tell the soil quality. So when the drone finishes that job, it sends the information to which other relay point, and then the whole
And
process.
this
So
is the
yes,
guy who said he's a photographer.
but
Photo genius.
it's aerial photography.
You got yourself out of that one. Nice. Hi, great talk so far about the need for internet to control IoT devices. How about an SMS-powered gateway to the IoT device instead? Imagine a SmartThings hub with a GSM controller. It receives pre-configured SMS messages and then sends the signals to the device on the local network from Z.
Exactly.
Makes a whole lot of sense.
Exactly.
I know you, Z. Thank you for listening.
So,
No.
I mean, from Z's submission, yes,
Yeah.
Sicho.
Yeah, so no need, as he has clearly stated, so no need to go for high-end devices because let's not forget, these devices are actually, we are talking about farmers who are not ready to spend not more than actually 500 cedis.
Yeah.
You get me? We are talking about people who don't really appreciate this Internet
Yeah.
of Things. So if you are introducing them, of course, from your standpoint, you'd also want to make profit. You would also want to sell your idea to these people. If you are selling a whole solution to somebody that is skyrocketing their their budgets, they are not going to go for it.
Yeah.
So I think before people in Ghana specifically can actually start embracing the whole IoT idea, we should start by letting them know how they can actually achieve the whole idea with these small devices first, and then later increases the scale. And then we should also, there's something I've also realized, it's not only the Internet of Things is not only the internet. Your local area network is also a network. So you could have devices that are communicating in your field that are not connected to your internet.
Great.
So yeah.
So, I mean, from everything I've heard, Josh, I think if you introduce a GSM one to the turning off the lights, you'd be surprised that you get to an area where they don't have, the people are not that.
Buy the idea.
So,
and they're just using their yams to turn
when
off
it
their
comes to
lights.
communication, we also have to understand the architecture. For instance, if you're deploying IoT solution to the farm, you don't need to have internet there.
Yeah.
But if you are doing it in the home, you want to control lights. Like you have like 10, 20 devices in your home. Are you going to put SIM card in 20 devices and every month bundle every 20 SIM card? So it depends on the architecture and how you intend to implement it.
Okay.
On the farm, might be just 1 or 2 devices. You don't need a Wi-Fi. You can do the SIM card. But in the house where you have like 20 devices, you can't be putting 20 SIM card and bundle every month.
I think I have a solution to
So
that.
so it depends on
You don't
Shall we
actually,
hear it?
you don't actually
No.
need 20 SIM cards. I mean.
depend on the kind of
Proprietary
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I have an idea. Anyway, so I'm sure a lot of people are dying to call. If you want to call us, the number to call is 0302-216-541. We're talking about the Internet of Things, IoT for short. And I have Winston, Kwekwan Ansi, Joshua of Personet, and then Situ of Process and Plant Automation. PPA for short. 'Cause your name's too long.
It's not no, PPA.
So you want to call us 0302-216-541. Kwekwan Ansi. Yes. So,
Well,
mhm.
if I may come in, you see these IoT devices.
Yes.
You know, yeah, we all know they run on IPs and then so on. And
What
there
if
is
they're
this.
not on the network?
Well, definitely, like Josh
In the
said,
home.
that's the most important part of the whole IoT thing. Without internet, it's somehow a little bit dummy.
Pause. We have a call on the line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, how are you, How are you?
Very well, sir.
Yeah, very interesting program as always. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, with what you're discussing, what now? I want to start with what Na said. The WhatsApp she sent. I mean, the doom source thing she's talking about. I think she's talking about her knowing when the doom source will take place and when the light will come on. But that I think will be impossible because you don't know when someone is going to switch off the light. But when her light is off in her house and she should be notified in her office, I think that is possible.
Yeah.
And when her light is on, that's possible.
Yeah.
Now, some of the things that have been said, I mean, they are great. But these are not novel because these things have been done elsewhere, you know. So I have some questions. Are these quotes done or written, by our people who are in the studio, or they are sourced from elsewhere? You know, because if they are sourced from elsewhere, then it can be well that some of the security threats and that kind of thing would have been tackled in somewhat, you know, though hackers will still find a way. So that's my first question.
Okay.
Have they written them themselves? Number two, the servers running this, if indeed they are servers, because they should be, are they here in Ghana or they are sourced from elsewhere? That's in America, UK, or whatever, because of our power fluctuation situations or whatever. Now, I also have another question. Now, they spoke well. I mean, because when we talk about the drone that the government is going to, spend that huge amount of money on, I mean, there are technocrats here who can do it, and I fully trust them that they can do it. But the question is, they are not showing the way. For instance, I was surprised that the guys in your studio are here and many, many other people who have won several awards. Some of them I'm surprised the kind of awards people win because I don't see the work that they are doing in terms of IT. Why are they there? They sat down for Uber to come from America, set up, and now they've taken over the taxi business. Whereas Ghanaians, so why did they do that? Why did they sit down for that long? Because China, when China realized that there's Uber, that idea was there. Quickly, the Chinese companies put up their own, and Uber today had to partner them in China. But over here, we waited because that's a huge something. So why are they not leading the way? Why are they not showing us some of these things?
They will answer that very shortly. Thank you very much for calling. Yeah, we've got another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. My name is Samuel from Nungwa.
Hi, Samuel from Nungwa.
Yeah. I'm actually happy to hear my voice, Josh, on the set. Yeah.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. So I have a short question. We've also been hearing about blockchain and how blockchain is going to augment with IoT and all that. So I'd just like them to share a little on how blockchain and IT can work together. Is blockchain all about Bitcoin? How does blockchain and IoT work together? Yeah, that's just a question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Samuel from Nungwa. We've got another call on the line, Nee from East Legon.
Yes,
hi, Nee.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. And I say congratulations to your squad.
Thank you very much.
Doing a marvelous job.
Thank you.
But I would also like them to clarify something.
Sure.
They keep on saying that the IoT may not be necessarily linked to the internet when you have some form of gadget, maybe in the farm or at home, and it's not linked to you far away. I know that when you define the word internet, it's when you have two or three things put together and there is a connotation between them. Okay, but when you have the www, which is World Wide Web, that one is vast connectivity. Okay, so when they keep on saying that, some of us don't really get them.
Right.
Because the word internet went from the word net, where two or three things are networked together. So assuming I have my drone and other things working in my farm, but not necessarily connected to the internet, where even if I'm at home, I can access it, does not mean there's no internet connectivity there. There's a connectivity, just that it's not worldwide accessible,
right?
Where I can move from one region to another and have that accessibility. And I also like to use this platform to ask how I can be part of it. I'm not a computer freak, but in terms of ideas concerning such things, I'm quite great.
Great. Thank you very much for your questions. We'll answer them shortly. We have another call on the line, Ajimai from Tema. Hello, Ajimai.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. I think the discussion is very good. The program is nice. I just want to ask a few questions about connecting things to the internet or connecting internet to things.
Right.
And your man made a mention of something like iron or let's say fridge.
Which of my men?
I want to ask, what effect does power outages have on this connectedness? Because assuming you are connected to something like fan or iron, you left home, but you realize that you're supposed to put it off. And before you even put it off from your device, it had gone off already because of power outage.
Yeah.
And at a point in time, the power will come back. So how do you do that? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much. Final caller, Samuel from Nungwa. Hello, Samuel.
Yes, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please, I just want to verify. I want to verify about the amount involved in learning the IoT, please.
Okay, sure. So we'll talk about that. We'll answer that in a moment.
This is that?
We'll answer that in a moment.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, so a barrage of questions.
Yeah,
I can't remember a number of them.
Yes. So,
same here.
We'll start from the beginning.
Okay. There's one I would like to really answer. The guy who was actually confused about the internet of things being connected today.
Yeah.
You remember from my definition, I said it was a network. Okay.
Yes.
So as I was saying, now the reason why to how they coined the name for Internet of Things, it was actually supposed to be Internet for Things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the thing is, as at the time the name came up, they were trying to connect these devices and they were trying to make it possible for people to reach them. Now, as at that time, the feasible means for that was the internet.
Yes.
So and then it was actually easy to deploy these things over the internet. So people were accessing their data over the internet. That is why because most of these devices were being accessed, data was being accessed over the internet. It came Internet of Things. But the actual thing is, when you look at certain infrastructures or solutions that people have deployed, they have nothing to do with the internet.
Right.
So as the guy was actually confused about it, it could be your network, your home network, as you were saying, he actually said. So yes, so that's what I want to touch about. So Internet of Things is not always about connecting things to the internet. However, if you connect things to the internet, it makes it easily accessible for someone.
All over the world.
And you can access it remotely.
Remotely also.
Yes. And then there's the talk of the blockchain.
Yeah.
And yes.
If I could also answer another one within it about the man, blaming us the gigs for not being able to bring Uber to Ghana.
Yes.
Well, he is one of the problem because for beginning, you are already saying that if the code is from us here, meaning it wouldn't be good.
Yes.
And you are expecting us to bring Uber.
Like with people,
what he's saying doesn't go in well.
So for you,
they should trust our code.
Yes.
If they trust us when we bring them the projects to sponsor, then that will be it.
Let me add to what he said. They make it a little friendly. When it comes to code, the interesting thing about coding is the fact that you'll be certain that someone has written the same code that you have, because
Yes,
the
yes.
language it's a language.
Yeah.
So writing a sentence like as you would write I am going to school, everybody will write I am going to school in the exact same way. So as to whether they coded it themselves or they sourced
code
it from somewhere else, it's pretty much the same code. It's supposed to do the exact same thing. As for why we haven't done it, we can't tell you why the government does what it does. That's really not our place.
And I
But
do know that people had developed softwares like Uber
Yes.
before Uber came.
Yes.
But the interesting thing is that obtaining funding in Ghana is not very easy.
It's practically impossible.
Yes. So if he is willing to invest in some of us here, I'm sure we can get a lot of things done. So if you're listening and you have,
He said your code can be hacked.
but I just explained that the code is the code.
I think what Winston explained, yes, it very much explains the whole point of open source. Okay, so you don't actually have to go and then reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
People have actually done solutions, better working solutions, and those solutions have been tried and tested, but already. So you don't have to then go and give yourself the headache of trying to come up with your own thing, which may eventually come out with bags. Okay, we have people in Ghana who are actually good programmers. A typical example I can give you right now is the man I came with, a very awesome programmer. Yeah, you can see him. Yeah, so it's also about the confidence level you have in us. We have, I think there are still competitors for Uber in Ghana. I think we still have Enshika and then Taxify. We still have a number of them. Yeah, what happened? Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
Wow.
heard about that. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. Confidence in our own market, in our own individuals. Yes, will also sort of solve these things.
Great. So
blockchain.
Yes,
Yeah, the blockchain.
Okay. So when it comes to blockchain, I think one concept of it is the cryptocurrency, and it's not just Bitcoin. We have a lot of coins in the market, but Bitcoin has to be the most popular ones
That's
that
what
have been
everybody
doing very well. So the whole architecture or the whole technology behind blockchain is to have a distributed ledger where data can be split over the internet. So every transaction gets split over the internet. That same concept can be used in building smart contracts where I tell you, Kobe, I need a phone. Until you release the phone to me and I verify it's the phone I want, you don't get your
You don't get
money.
paid, yes.
So transparency. So the whole idea of blockchain is transparency, security, and data can't be tampered after it has been captured. So the same concept can be also applied in IoT to make sure the data we collect from the sensors are also stored and being protected without any tampering. Okay. Those who want to be part of the IoT Network Hub, it's an open community, we don't charge. We meet every last Saturday of the month at Kofi Annan ICT Center. We're meeting this Saturday.
Where is that?
Kofi Annan ICT Center.
A lot of
Ridge.
people confuse that with
With
peacekeeping center.
Okay. So this is actually at the back entrance of Parliament House.
So the ITKs.
The ITKs, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be meeting this weekend, Saturday, for our end of year meetup.
Right.
So whoever is interested can also join us there. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, IoT Network Hub. Just search and then just join.
Okay.
And we will share a lot.
Sicho, a lot of people are asking, what does process and plant automation do?
Yes. Okay, so to that, process and plant automation, we are an electrical automation company. We specialize in home and then industrial process automation. So basically that we do some of these wonderful things that we are actually talking about here. We also have solutions for factory owners and then even people like you, multimedia here. We have solutions for you. So one of them that I would also like to talk about is and not actually a full-blown IoT solution, but then IoT also must have the capability to expand over the years. So it's just a starting point, but then it's an actual wonderful solution. We call it the Zynet. Yeah, it's a wonderful name, Zynet. I think you should yes, yeah, futuristic. You should come over so we give you a demo.
I will.
Yeah,
The Geek
sure.
Squad will come over.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Winston.
Yeah.
Any last words? We're running out of time.
Any last words? Well, all I'm gonna say is that IoT is really great. We have companies here that are trying to push it, like Samsung with their new smart TVs and everything.
Well,
And
unfortunately, they couldn't make it.
make
Wanted
it.
them to kind of talk about
Yeah.
it.
So it's the way forward. That's actually where the future is heading. So we will probably have to jump on the bandwagon now. And I would like to say thank you to Z. He's the best programmer I know, to be honest. So
yeah, we
thank
actually
you.
even just talked to the message about the architecture. I think this could work. I built something similar, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
The Open Hub server
Open Hub
could live on a Raspberry Pi, for instance, and control the devices on a local network. I'd pay for something like that. Take a look. So he sent us a link.
Yeah,
we'll share
sure.
that in the group.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
And then,
Kokwana, so of course, final words from you. I mean, not the definitive, decisive final words. Just something.
I understand you. Well, this kind IoT things we are talking about is the main deal. I want everybody to just, join the whole thing and then try to improve it. Because when you look at things, a robot is an IoT, and we were talking about these robots, futuristic robots, and so on. So, the IoT channel is where everything is going to pass through.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very great field for people to.
Josh.
So I also like to pass a final word. I think IoT is the future of technology.
Yeah.
Like the way the internet came to change, transform our business and life, and the company that started earlier, like the Americans, become the giants. I believe if Africa or Ghana, we can also jump into it. Maybe in the next 10 years, we can be the spearheading of IoT in Africa.
Brilliant.
I was invited to Kenya last week by Internet Society, and they were surprised to see some of the great work we are doing here because they didn't have much happening there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if we can,
Kenya.
Which
the whole
is actually
Kenya,
the hub of technology.
That was very impressive. I was surprised to see that because we've been hyping them so much as far as technology is concerned. So if there's something new that they are not jumping on it, they are doing so much of research, but they're actually not building. But I took a project there, presented to them, demonstrated to them, and they were very, very happy and impressed. So we have the opportunity to spearhead it.
Okay. I think also confidence in our local manufacturers, like PPA. PPA is a Ghanaian company, for your information.
Geek Squad.
Yes. So if you have money out there, please invest in us.
Yeah, invest in
us.
It's the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for listening, everyone who listened, and big thank you to my producer Delaglan, who's shouting at me that my time is up, and Dennis the fair boy who's not so fair, Selwyn the camera guy, and Abe Kusan Kofi. Thank you all for your support. Up next is the news, after which we have Sammy Forsen with The Overdrive.